Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to the second season of Breaking the Mold. I'm your host, Mike Bellardi, here to take you into some in-depth interviews and performances with some of your favorite indie bands. Today, we are totally stoked to welcome Cartel from Conyers, Georgia, with us in the studio here on Marywood campus. Tonight, Cartel will be playing at Eleanor Rigby's on Route 6 in German, Pennsylvania. They'll be playing with Sparks the Rescue and a local talent, Tara on the Screen, who you may have met on a show in the first season. So without further ado, we welcome Cartel. You guys stoked to be here or what?
Absolutely.
All right, you guys want to introduce yourselves and your talent in the band?
I'm Will. I sing and play guitar.
I'm Kevin. I play drums.
I'm Jeff, and I play bass.
I'm Nick. I play guitar.
I'm Joseph. I play guitar.
Welcome, guys. We're so stoked to have you here. I actually got the notice about a week ago that you guys were coming in and told all my roommates, I was, oh, that's so sick. That's so cool. And believe it or not, everybody, we have a studio audience here today. So first studio audience here for Breaking the Mold, and we're already breaking some ground, not just breaking the mold. So how are you guys all doing with the tour, traveling, everything like that? How's everything going?
It's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, we're pretty stoked. Anytime you're not at home, sitting on the couch, being completely bored, and you're playing music is much more fun. So I don't know, we've only been out this is the third day. We're doing a little 5-day run here, just to kind of keep the machine well oiled. And when we get home from this, we're pretty much going to rehearse and practice for our upcoming tour that starts October 22nd. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
October 22nd
Yeah,
now.
so that's a full guy. It's like a 5-weeker, 6-weeker kind of guy. So
Pretty stoked.
yeah, oh yeah.
Who's on the tour with you guys for the October 22nd and 5-week bang?
This Providence and Somerset.
And the Bigger Lights are on some of it. The Dares are on some of it.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. Mostly Eastern. You guys going to do all full U.S.?
Full dude.
The whole thing.
The whole guy.
Finally.
Whole thing. They're right here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and you guys are going to be across the planet.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is
Totally
all I'm getting.
stoked.
We've
Well,
only just begun.
so you have a tour planned. Earlier this year, we saw a couple different things happen. What have you guys been up to for 2009?
Nothing. No, we've been recording in the studio since, obviously in the studio, since April up until about mid-August. So we're finally enjoying some time off, somewhat. And other than that, yeah, we've just been writing and waiting some more.
Waiting.
Really
I guess it's good to be patient, right?
It's been really easy.
It's a virtue, I heard.
Well, now, aside from touring and a couple of things you guys have planned, earlier this year we saw a label change. Originally, you guys were signed to Sony BMG for your 2005 release and your following release in 2007. Now, the label change, and you've already released a single. I believe it's Let's Go. Can you guys elaborate on that? Is that just the first single that's going to be released in your new album?
Yeah, we signed with Wind Up, and they've just been nothing but incredible since. They've been incredibly supportive. You know, how cliche can you get? But they really have been. And Let's Go, yeah, it's the first single. They're going to radio with it. I think they just kind of went to radio with it now. So it's in the works. So we're doing that, and, you know, hopefully future singles to come.
Future singles to come.
Yeah.
I like how that sounds. I mean, not only is Breaking Mold part of Marywood University's television program, but we also have a stellar radio reputation here too. So I'm sure we'll probably be getting that in the mail sometime soon.
Play that song.
Play that song.
Play that song.
He's already advertising. Play that song. So some of us remember back in the day a show called Band in a Bubble.
Haha.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. You guys were trapped in a bubble for several weeks, and during that period of time, you were able to have visitors. This was was it Pier? What pier was it? 54.
54.
Yeah.
Pier 54, and you guys were allowed to have guests come up to you. You had a big glass window. It's almost like you were just kept in this big glass case.
Right.
And you were also expected to start producing an album. How did you guys feel when you guys were inside that bubble for that extended period of time?
Claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic.
You know, I said this, that I would never take my kids to the zoo after that, because it really is like one of the most anxiety-filled things when you have people just beating on the glass. You know, it's like I can imagine what those monkeys feel like now.
Yeah, it's kind of extreme. It was a neat experience, to say the least. But yeah, when you got people just being like, "Hey, do something. You're like, I am.
I'm living my life.
Exactly.
Making a record is actually a little more boring than you would think. So, I mean, because I don't know, it was just extreme to have like as much like someone be like, "Hey, talk to me," and you don't want to like deny them that because they're there like trying to experience as much as they can. So you're like, hi and bye while I go do what I have to do. But
Yeah, it's after that I'll never again knock on a fish tank ever. That's totally what it felt like for 20 days, being the fish tank and people knocking on it every
Absolute
day.
torture. What was the food like? Did you guys like have
the
legit?
food was probably probably the best experience of it all because they would cater. They'd bring food in all the time, like for lunch and dinner. That was a part of, I guess, the production catering. But we would also try to take advantage of the KFC sponsorship we had. It was ridiculous.
KFC.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
that was
Yeah.
It gets
KFC
better.
was part of the sponsorship. So we would like make these ridiculous orders to the KFC that was local to that pier, and then just like 24 biscuits, like just buckets and buckets of chicken, and you're like, I can't believe we're actually gonna eat all this chicken, but we would really give it our best shot.
No way, man. Best part was the Colonel actually showed up with fresh biscuits and fresh chicken in the bucket, like commercial style. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, the guy who
Twice.
plays the Colonel. He's not really the Colonel, but he looks
Yeah.
just like the guy in the box. He came and was like, "Hey, have some biscuits," and you're like, "Oh my god!"
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, wow.
So yeah, that was the best part of the bubble.
That was the best part of the bubble.
Meeting
Now-
that guy.
You guys are being stared at in a huge glass case. Food was okay,
It was
but
decent,
you got to meet. I guess you got to meet the Colonel. That was pretty awesome.
right?
Now, wow. I'm almost like forgetting my train of thought right now. I'm kind of jealous. I want to meet the Colonel.
They really threw some tricks at us, man. I mean, we woke up to livestock one
Yeah,
morning.
they were like barn animals in there
Chickens.
one day.
And lamb or goats. No
Well,
cows,
cool.
but
That's
Yeah, cows would have been pretty intense.
yeah.
Now, how many years ago was that? Was that?
That was
07.
07. Summer of
Two?
07.
That was 07. Now you were producing your second album that was released on Sony, and now would you guys say that being trapped in the bubble definitely affected the outcome of that album?
I think just putting yourself in a situation where everyone's like, all right, like, not only are you trying to make a record that hopefully is as well received as the last record, but it's like under such scrutiny already.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not only judging the product or like the music you're putting out, but like the way it was created. Where normally everyone's just like, I don't know what the hell goes on. I don't know what recording an album looks like. And so I mean, it got some negative flack, but overall we had a decent time doing it. It was what it was.
Well, it definitely was a solid release at that. I mean, without a doubt, that album. I mean, putting on under the pressure of being in front of cameras all the time,
Right.
all the time, almost from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Obviously it's going to have some effect in some way, but I mean, without a doubt, I'd probably say it's got to be one of the most. It's got to be a very positive release, even under the stress.
Yeah, I mean, as a
situation.
band, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, you do the same things, you tour, and then you go home, you write, and then you stay at home or go somewhere else and do a record, and like that's cool, that's fun. But this was a way to kind of spice that up, at least for the band, to be like, oh, here's something that no one's done, and that was kind of like the positive side of what we saw in it was like, here's a way to kind of keep it interesting all across the board.
And the camera guys we kind of got used to be honest. Like we kind of knew those guys better than anybody else going on with the project. So.
somewhat of a little comfort, even though it's a camera, right?
Oh yeah. Plus, once the pier shut down and it was just us and the camera guys, like it's pretty hilarity
privacy.
ensued. I wish they had like B-sides or something where they would put out because we did some pretty wild stuff that didn't make the show.
Didn't somebody? There was a top story, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, didn't something get thrown? I can't remember. I was
bodies.
Yeah, you guys jumped from the second, like the loft
I
part.
don't know about you guys, but whenever I was a kid and my parents left me alone, like by myself with some punk babysitter, I always just would try to make this like ridiculous like catching pad for myself, which was my body, and I would jump off the stairs that I had into this foam pit, this foam fort that we made. So that with all
I
the
have, like bubble wrap and saran wrap.
right, so with all the plush items that they gave us in this bubble, I kind of just made this really, really fluffy situation that was about like 5 feet tall, and we would jump off the loft into it, and that was like about a half hour of fun. So
About a half hour of fun.
yeah,
then-
of 20 days, that filled up that much time. So
and then